The lights of the Ireland's Got Talent 2025 stage shimmered like a sea of gold as a nervous young girl walked out from the shadows. Her name was Jessica Sánchez, a 17-year-old from Cebu City, Philippines, a place of warm sunsets and hard-working souls. Her clothes were simple, her sneakers worn from long walks to school and local singing contests. The audience could sense her unease. The stage was massive, and she looked so small beneath the blinding lights. Yet in her trembling eyes was something powerful, hope. Sofía Vergara leaned toward the microphone with her familiar warmth. "Hello, sweetheart. What's your name and where are you from?" she asked gently. Jessica clutched the microphone, her voice soft yet sincere. "My name is Jessica Sánchez. I came all the way from Cebu, Philippines. My family doesn't have much, but they always told me my voice is a gift, and I want to use it to make them proud." A hush swept through the hall. Simon Cowell raised his eyebrows, intrigued. Amanda Holden smiled tenderly. Sophia's lips curled into an emotional grin. Then Jessica nodded to the sound engineer, signaling she was ready. The music began. The opening piano notes of "Rise Up" by Andra Day echoed softly through the hall. At first, her voice trembled. But as she reached the first chorus, something changed. The tone deepened, carrying pain, courage, and dreams born from poverty and love. The lyrics became her story. A girl who rose from the small fishing shanties of Cebu, who sang to the waves when life got too heavy. The crowd leaned in. Every note seemed to touch something sacred. When Jessica hit the final high note, her eyes closed, and her whole body trembled as if her soul was pouring through her voice. The hall went silent for a heartbeat, then exploded in applause. Tears streamed down Sophia's face as she stood, visibly moved. "Jessica," she whispered, "you're what this show is all about." And then, with trembling hands, Sophia slammed the golden buzzer. Gold confetti rained from above, swirling around Jessica like a dream made real. She fell to her knees, sobbing, as the judges and audience stood in awe. Sophia ran onto the stage, wrapping her in a motherly embrace. "You did it, mi amor," she said softly, her voice breaking. The world had just witnessed a miracle, a poor girl from Cebu proving that dreams, no matter how small, could shine brighter than gold. Backstage, the atmosphere still shimmered with gold confetti, like tiny stars clinging to Jessica's hair. She sat on a small couch, still shaking, her eyes red from tears. The crew members congratulated her softly, offering water and tissues. But Jessica was barely breathing, not from exhaustion, but disbelief. Moments ago, she had been an unknown girl from a poor neighborhood in Cebu. Now, the world knew her name. A producer approached her with a kind smile. "Jessica, we have a surprise for you." The lights dimmed, and a large screen flickered to life. On it appeared two faces she hadn't seen for weeks. Her mother and father lived from their small home in Cebu. Her mother's voice cracked through the screen. "Anak, we saw everything. You did it." Jessica's tears fell instantly. Her father's withered face filled the frame. His eyes glistened as he spoke in a trembling voice. "You remember, Anak, when you sang at the pier to earn coins for food? Look where your voice brought you now." His hand pressed to his chest. "We're so proud of you." Even the judges, watching from a monitor nearby, couldn't contain their emotions. Sofía Vergara wiped her eyes, whispering to Amanda Holden, "This girl reminds me of my own beginnings. So much heart." Simon Cowell, known for his stoic demeanor, stared at the screen with a rare softness. "That's pure," he said quietly. "That's what music should be." Jessica explained through her tears. "My whole town helped me come here. We sold baked goods, and my teacher gave me her savings for my ticket. I promised them I wouldn't waste this chance." She held Sophia's hand tightly, her voice trembling. When you pressed that buzzer, you didn't just change my life, you changed theirs too. The camera caught Sofía leaning in, her eyes glistening. Jessica, you have the soul of an angel. Never forget where you came from. That's your power. Outside, the audience still chanted her name. Jessica! Jessica! Echoing like thunder from the main hall. Jessica stood up, walked to the curtain's edge, and looked out at the sea of lights. For a moment, she whispered a prayer in Cebuano, thanking God for the miracle that had found her. And in that quiet moment backstage, surrounded by cameras, judges, and tears, Jessica Sánchez, the poor girl from Cebu, began to believe she truly belonged on the world's biggest stage. Weeks passed since Jessica Sánchez received her golden buzzer. The story of the poor girl from Cebu had spread across the internet like wildfire. Videos of her emotional audition reached millions worldwide. Her voice, her tears, and Sofía Vergara's heartfelt hug had become a symbol of hope. Now, the stage awaited her once again, but this time it was the semi-finals, and expectations were sky-high. Backstage, Jessica stood alone, her hands clasped together, whispering a quiet prayer. She wore a simple white dress gifted by a local designer who'd seen her story online. The lights of Dublin shimmered through the backstage window, and she thought of home, her mother selling fish at dawn, her father mending nets by the shore, her neighbors cheering her name from small TV screens back in Cebu. The stage door opened. "Jessica, you're on in 10 seconds," a crew member said softly. She nodded, her heartbeat loud in her ears. As she walked onto the stage, the crowd erupted in cheers. The judges smiled, Sofía with her signature warmth, Simon with his expectant stare, Amanda and Alicia already misty-eyed. When the music began, it wasn't in English this time. It was Anak by Freddie Aguilar, the most beloved Filipino song about a parent's sacrifice and a child's journey. Jessica sang it partly in Tagalog, partly in English, her voice flowing like a gentle tide. Each word carried her story, the hunger, the hope, the endless love of family. The cameras panned to Sofía, already crying silently. Simon's jaw clenched as if holding back emotion. The audience was still, hanging on every syllable. When Jessica reached the final verse, "Anak may luha ese ayang MJ mana," her voice broke slightly, but it only made the moment more real, more human. As the last note faded, the crowd rose instantly to their feet. A standing ovation roared through the hall, echoing like thunder. Even the judges stood together, Simon clapping, Sofía wiping tears, Amanda pressing her hand over her heart. Sofía leaned forward into her mic. "Jessica, I don't understand every word you sang, but I felt every single one. You didn't just sing, you told your country's story." Jessica bowed deeply, tears running down her face. "This song is for my parents, for every Filipino who dreams beyond poverty," she whispered. As she walked off the stage, gold lights shimmered above her like stars. Jessica Sánchez had done it again. From the shores of Cebu to the grand stage of Ireland, she had turned her struggle into a song the world would never forget.